Hello, happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to boot camp. Excuse the mess behind me. Also, excuse the lighting. It's a little not very bright in here. I'm gonna work on getting the lighting improved in the group X room here. But yes, I am in San Francisco. We are rearranging some stuff over here. So more news to come soon. But today we have boot camp. We're gonna do 3 rounds of our circuit today. We're gonna do 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest / transition time with a mix of upper body and lower body. We don't need any equipment, but if you want to have weights or dumbbells, whatever you want to use, feel free to grab that. But I'm going to go ahead real quick with demos, and then we will get right into the circuit. So like I said, bear with me with the lighting. I can't really see what I've written down on my paper. So if I'm like squinting and everything, it's because the lighting in here is not that great. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to start off with upper body here. We're going to do a push-up into a pike push-up. So for our regular push-up on our hands and toes, bringing our chest towards the ground, pushing away. Then we're going to push our hips up, and we're going to do a push-up in the pike position. So we're going to be alternating between these two for our first movement. And then for our second movement, moving to lower body, we're going to do an alternating staggered squat. So for that, we're going to have all of our weight in one of our feet on the other toe, just like a kickstand Romanian deadlift. We're going to squat down. I'm only using this leg to stand up, and then we're going to switch to the other leg. So it's like a single leg squat. We just have a little bit more support. So we're alternating between our legs there. And then we're going to do some bent over IYTs. So for this, feet hip width apart, pushing our hips slightly back, bringing our arms above our head, thumbs are up for our I and our Y, keeping our shoulder blades pulled down, and then making our T there. So if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you can pause for a second or two at the top of each movement. You can also use resistance bands or light dumbbells if you want to have a challenge there. And then from here, we're going to do a mix of lower body and cardio here. So for this first one, we're going to do all on one leg and then all on the other leg. But we're going to do a reverse lunge into a knee drive and or jump. So for that, in the top of our space, stepping back into our reverse lunge, and we're either going to step up, driving our knee up, or we're going to lunge back and we're going to jump. So all on one leg, and then we'll switch over to the other leg. So those are our next movements. And then we're going to finish out with some skips here. So for the skips, opposite arm, opposite leg, coming back, double tapping on the ground. So if jumping isn't your thing today, go ahead and do the knee drive and do marches for this instead. But whatever feels good for you today. And again, I apologize. It was a little bit hard to see my lower body with the background. So like I said, just bear with me today. This is like kind of a test too to see what's going to be going on if I'm here and teaching virtually. So let's go ahead. We're going to get started with our warm up here. So we're going to go ahead and come to the top of our space for the world's greatest stretch. So once we're at the top, we're going to go ahead and interlace one of our fingers. Whoops, interlace our fingers. Grab onto one of our knees. And we're going to go ahead and exhale, step back into our reverse lunge. Hands are going to come down on the inside of our front foot. Back leg is going to stay nice and straight here. It's going to help us open up our hips. Let's go ahead and exhale, opening up towards our front leg, gazing past our hand. Thumb is facing behind us, so we're looking at our palm. It's going to help us open up our back a little bit more. And we're going to go ahead, exhale, plant our hand outside of our front foot. Bring our back foot a little bit closer. Push our hips up into our hamstring stretch. And on our next exhale, let's go ahead and bring our feet together, push the ground away, and stand on up. All right. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Interlacing our fingers, grabbing onto our opposite knee, pulling our knee towards our chest. And we're going to go ahead and exhale, step back into our reverse lunge. Hands are coming down on the inside of our front foot. Back leg stays nice and straight here. You can even move around side to side, whatever feels good. And we're going to go ahead, exhale, opening up towards our front leg. Hand towards the ceiling, thumb is facing behind us, so we're looking at our palm here. Breathing into our bellies. And we can go ahead and exhale, plant our hand outside of our front foot. Bring our back foot a little bit closer and push our hips up into our hamstring stretch. Breathing into our tight areas here. Let's go ahead and exhale. Bring our feet together, push the ground away, and stand on up. All right, next up, let's go ahead and do a few plank to pikes here since we are going to be doing our pike push-ups and all of that. So let's go ahead and make our way onto the ground on our hands and toes. And when we're ready, let's go ahead and push our hips up into our down dog or pike position. We can pedal our heels, open up our calves a little bit, stick our head between our arms, open up our upper back. And let's go ahead and go back to plank, pushing up to pike. And back to plank. And we're going to do one more coming up. And back to plank. And then from here, go ahead, gently drop down onto your hands and knees because we're going to start off on the ground with our push-ups. So we are ready to rock and roll. I'm going to get the timer started here. We're starting off push-up to our pike push-up. Like I said, 3 rounds here today, 45-15. 3, 2, 1, and go. So starting off, hands and toes or hands and knees for our push-ups. Screwing our hands into the ground so we're getting a nice flat upper back here. Pushing ourselves down. And then into our pike push-up. Somehow my glasses bent and now they will not stay on my face. So that's good. But alternating between the two, making sure our elbows are staying about 45-degree angles here, even in our pike push-up. We don't want our elbows all the way off to the side. We want to protect our shoulder joints, keeping our pelvis tucked as well. 3, 2, 1. All right. Standing on up, we're doing staggered squats next. We're going to alternate between our feet here. So we're putting all of our weight on one foot, coming up on the other toe. 3, 2, 1. So for this, it's really important distinction here. Our foot is not super far behind our other foot. So we're not doing a split squat. We are not lunging. We are doing a staggered squat, which means our feet are staggered. They're not separate. They're staggered. So I like to have my toe in line with the arch of the foot that I'm using. On our toes, to remind ourselves to not push through that leg. So right now I'm just using my right leg coming down and back up. It looks like I'm doing a regular squat, but as I'm standing up, all I feel is that my left glute working on that leg, and same thing on this one. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, bent over IYTs. So again, for this one, if you want to use some weight, I recommend doing something super light because we want to really work our shoulders here. 3, 2, 1. It's really easy just to be flopping our arms around. We're like, yeah, I can do some weight, but we really want to use our shoulders and also keep our shoulder blades pinned down and back. So we're squeezing through our armpits, nice and slow, lifting our arms up. These are great for shoulder health because a lot of times, especially when we're doing like presses and push-ups, we're working our larger muscle groups, but not necessarily those smaller ones that keep our joint locked and loaded. So really making sure we're being nice, slow, and controlled here. Okay, we don't need to get our heart rate up because we will have it up after this with our lunges. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, reverse lunge into a jump or knee drive. Whatever's feeling good for you today. Starting at the top of our space. 3, 2, 1. So we're stepping back, reverse lunge. Knee is right over our second toe. Chest is staying over the arch of our front foot. We're powering through, either exhaling, using our core, driving our knee up, or we are going to drive our knee up as we jump. So whatever feels better today. You can always like alternate. You can do a knee drive and then a jump, knee drive and jump. Again, whatever is available to you, but I definitely want us all to push ourselves today. using our core. This one's going to be really good too to help strengthen our core and hip flexors of the knee that we're driving up. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Take a rest, take a second. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, on our other leg. 3, 2, 1. All right, same thing here. Driving through our front heel, big toe, little toe. Jumping up, we want to feel it in our quads and in our glutes of the front leg. Be mindful as well that we're not stepping super far back. We should not be lunging back like this. We're going to start to use our back leg. We want to be a little bit shorter in our stride. Whoops, that was too far. And then again, either just driving your knee, or you can use that back knee to help you jump up. So I definitely recommend helping yourself by using your leg, your back leg, I should say. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Next up, last part of round 1. Then we got 2 more to go. We're going to do either skips or marches. So whatever feels better for you today. 3, 2, 1. So if we are skipping, we're going to double tap here. Opposite arm, opposite leg coming down. Our arms are like hammers. And we're double tapping. We don't have to get super high off the ground, but I want us to really get our legs parallel with the ground. So I want 90-90 in our hips and in our knees. Keeping our core tight. We're nice and tall. We don't want to be crunching down every time. So we're nice and tall here. Great job. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Round 1's done. We got 2 more to go. Starting off on the ground. Push-ups. Into pike push-ups. I'm like out of breath after that. 3, 2, 1. I feel like every week I get more and more out of breath as if I don't do cardio 5 times a week. So there's that. Pushing up and then pushing our hips up into our pike position. Elbows driving towards our feet. Whoops. Even with both of them here. Getting our head as close to the ground as we can. And when we inevitably start to get a little bit tired, we can always do eccentric push-ups. I want us to avoid hands and knees today. So if we need to, just eccentric drop. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, staggered squats. Okay, we're getting ready here. 3, 2, 1. I really need to fix my glasses because that's really annoying. So again, all of our weight is on one leg. We're on our opposite toe. Coming down, our squat form should look exactly the same as it does for a 2-leg squat, right? So our feet are just staggered. Our knees are still tracking past our second toe. Our chest is still in the middle. Pelvis is still tucked. Core is still engaged and nice and tight here. Nothing is changing except for the fact that we are now using just one leg. Exhaling as we drive through the ground. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have bent over IYTs. Again, nice, slow and controlled. We want to feel our shoulders working here. 3, 2, 1. All right, so feet, hip width, slight bend in the knee. We do not have to be fully parallel with the ground. I want thumbs up. So if we're here, thumbs are towards the ceiling. Thumbs are facing behind us, and then they're facing in front of us for our T. Also, with our T, we don't want our arms to be straight out. We want them to be just slightly below our shoulders. That's going to help us engage these muscles a little bit better. So our muscle fibers go down a little bit. So when we raise down a little bit, going to help us activate and use them a little bit better, really helping with our posture. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Reverse lunges. Reverse lunge with knee drive / jump. And then we have skips. And then we got one more round. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So we're stepping back. It does really help if we exhale as we drive our knee up, because as we exhale, we're going to bring our ribs down and together. So we're going to use our core as we drive our knee up. So it's kind of a twofer here. Again, we're also standing nice and tall through our torso as we drive our knee up. All right, my hip is not been feeling good the last week. All right, we got this. Try and get a few more in here. We have more time than I thought we did, so we're going to do a lot more in the next few seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So that could be something too. I know I've talked about this last week, but tight hips sometimes are from a weakness, not just from tightness, but usually it's both of them combined. 3, 2, 1. So sometimes when we do, I know for me, I do a lot of hip stretches because I do have tendonitis in this hip. It doesn't always help, but sometimes doing more of like the banded marches and stuff to strengthen, and dead bugs, leg raises, things like that can really help to strengthen it so that we don't have as much pain or tension there, especially when we do sit a lot throughout the day, working at our desks, on our Zoom calls, all that stuff. So just being mindful of that this might not feel so good on your hips, but it is helping. 3, 2, 1. Awesome job, y'all. I almost fell on that last one. Okay. We're going to do our skips / marches, whatever feels better. And then we got one more round. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So opposite arm, opposite leg. We're either double tapping or we are just marching. Our arms are like hammers. We're nice and tall through our torso. Core is zipped up. Does help if you look straight ahead to help with your posture. I find that if we look towards the ground, we start to kind of hunch over. So keeping everything open, wear your logo proud, staring straight ahead. Great job. We're almost there. 3, 2, 1. All right, nice job. 2 down, 1 to go. We got push-ups and push-ups and push-ups and push-ups and push-ups and push-ups. And then we're going to be done with them. 3, 2, 1. All right. So again, it's the third round. I know the third round is arguably the hardest round. So if our push-ups are not feeling so good, I want us to do eccentric push-ups. So lower yourself to the ground and then come up for our pike push-up. So I want us to try and stay away from the hands and knees today. I know we usually do that. Well, not we usually do that, but I know I do that a lot. But we're getting better this year. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Next up, we're done with push-ups. We have our staggered squats next. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, last round of these. I'm going to face this way this time, even though I did that last time. But again, if you notice, we're staggered. I'm not doing a split squat and I'm not doing lunges. And if you were like me and your hips don't feel that good, especially with any movement where we are in triple flexion, which is basically the bottom of a squat is the triple flexion position. If you move a little bit slower, focus on driving your heel That's going to help you engage your glutes and take that pressure off of your hips and your quads as you come up. 3, 2, 1. All right, done with those today. Next up, we have bent over IYTs. And then we'll do our lunges and then skips and we'll be done. 3, 2, 1. All right. Doing our IYTs here, keeping our core zipped up, keeping our shoulder blades pulled down and back, so we're squeezing through our armpits. I can do this a little bit better. If you're feeling your low back, if you're feeling the movement in your low back, bend your knees a little bit more, push your hips back a little bit more, really lean into your legs. We have more muscles in our legs than we do our low back, and they're a little bit bigger. So use those legs, keeping our core zipped up. 3, 2, 1. All right. We have reverse lunges and then skips. And then we're going to lay down and take a nap. Just kidding. We are going to be on the ground for our cool down though. 3, 2, 1. I'm feeling like it's a pretzel day today. We're doing lots of leg stuff. I know my hips are bothering me, and I'm sure we can all use a little bit of rotation and chest opening. We did do a lot of push-ups, so we're going to do some pretzel to cool down. So after we're done with our skips, we can make our way onto the ground. So I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. We're doing great though. Hip is feeling wonderful. We're doing awesome. Last round here. Like I said, it's the hardest round. So we got to be mentally focused here. Finishing strong with our last round here. 3, 2, 1. Also, it's the last round, so I'm getting a little toasty in here. It's also 75 degrees in this room. So we had to talk to the workplace team to figure out how to lower the temperature. 3, 2, 1. So we're doing our lunges on the other leg here. Same thing with our staggered squats. Triple flexion is the same position. We have 1, 2, 3 parts of our body are flexed here. So with that position, go a little bit slower, really drive through your front heel. It's going to activate those glutes, take some of the pressure off of the hip flexors here. So that's how we're going to do it today. We're doing great though. Wow, it's not feeling so good. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last movement here, we got skips / marches, whatever feels better. We're double tapping. Knees are coming up. 3, 2, 1. This is also the kind of thing too where I keep mentioning that my hip's bothering me. That's most likely when I would tell anyone else to take a rest day. We got to listen to our bodies. If something is feeling off, we're not right, we don't have to push through. We can take a day, work on mobility, some stretching, maybe do some yoga, whatever feels good. Just make sure that we are taking time to recover, whether that's some stretching, getting outside for a walk, meditation, whatever that looks like for you. Make sure you're making that time for yourself. It's more than just about the workouts. It's about recovery, it's about our mindset and what we eat. So making sure we're incorporating all those things. 3, 2, 1. And that is going to be it for today's circuit. So go ahead, grab a sip of water if you need it. And then we're going to go ahead and make our way onto the ground on our sides for some pretzel. So I'm going to go ahead, lay on down. I think we might know the checklist by now, but just in cases, checklist here. Go ahead and grab a pillow if you need to rest your head on something. I look like I'm about to take a nap. Our top leg is coming up over and across our body. Knee and ankle are staying on the ground. Bottom hand goes on top of our knee. Top hand grabs onto our bottom foot or ankle. We want to make sure our leg is going straight down here. We're going to do a nice big inhale. And we're going to exhale, bringing our top shoulder towards the ground. So from here, we're inhaling in through our nose. We're going to exhale, let our body sink further into the ground. Sigh away our tension. This is where we can dial in our mindset for the rest of the day. Really just let our bodies relax. Let all the stress we have just leave our mind, leave our bodies. Just really make this time about you and calming everything down here. Let's go ahead and do one more breath. And as we finish our exhale, we can gently release our bottom leg. And then when we're ready, we'll go ahead and roll on over, flip over to the other side. And we have our same checklist here. So we're taking our top leg, we're coming up over across our body, knee and ankle stay on the ground. Bottom hand goes on top of our knee. Top hand grabs onto the bottom foot or ankle. We're going to inhale to prepare. And exhaling, bringing our top shoulder towards the ground. So same thing here. Sigh away the tension. Let your body sink further into the stretch. So use this time. Do a little mental reset before going into the workday. You can even take a second, practice some gratitude. Think of 1 to 2 things that you're grateful for today that can really help us improve our mindset going into the rest of the day. Or we can even do a midday intention reset. So maybe think about the energy you're going to bring, what you're going to accomplish for the rest of your day, whether it be work related, your goals, your whatever you would like to make those intentions for. We're going to go ahead and do one more breath here. And as we finish our exhale, we can gently release our legs. And feel free to stay laying on the ground, or you can return to a seated, kneeling, or standing position. But that is going to be all the time for today's boot camp. So thank y'all so much for joining me. Hopefully you feel a little bit more like you got a good workout in. Don't forget, we do have some things coming up here. So we are going to do our Healthy Heart Challenge, which is, the goal is to do 450 minutes of activity over the course of 3 weeks. So if you want to sign up for that, all of that is up on SharePoint and on Slack. And then we do have our 3-on-3 basketball tournament coming up. We are going to be having that on March 10th in San Rafael at Dominican University. So let me know if you want to help out, or if you want to participate. You can also find that all on SharePoint. So thank y'all for joining me. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see y'all again.